Hello, we're Kablamo, and this is the 6th video in our Making of series. Today we're going to be talking about the track Kind.
It all started in October of 2020. It was kind of a rebellious phase. I was writing a lot of bedroom poppy, 80s pop beats before, but we had this garage with drums and everything, so I was like, I want to make the music I like. I want to make shoegazy, rock, washed out stuff. And particularly, I was really into this band called Duster. They have a song called Inside Out. It's from the 90s, and the production's kind of crappy. You can tell it's recorded on tape. It's the same groove, so I wanted to do that really badly, repetitive, intense. So I go into the garage feeling all angsty, and I just pick 2 chords and I just go bam, bam. I recorded the bass as well, and then I recorded drums straight to tape, and I just looped it. So it was just this loop, ga, ba, ba, ga. And from the very beginning, I knew I wanted it to be this underwater opening intro. We call it a filter sweep, where it just kind of starts with very low frequencies and it just opens up. And then when it opens up, it comes in very intensely. And I didn't even think it was going to be a full song. I thought it was going to be kind of an interlude, a minute-long thing. Let's play the beat.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's this other band I really like that's called Dive, that's been referenced and will keep being referenced. And they have, in their latest album that had recently come out,
Deceiver.
They have a song called Between Tides. They do a lot of dissonant, notes right next to each other with a lot of fuzz, so very distorted. And I really, really like that. I think it brings that kind of badass energy. So I did this initial lead, kind of inspired by them. Go ahead and play it. I just remember blasting it through the speakers and just being oh yeah, I struck gold today. This is sick. This is exactly what I wanted. It was exactly the feeling I was going for. But that was kind of my limit. I didn't know where to take it from there. So the first few bounces was just, it's that loop that we just listened to. So naturally, I bring it to my bandmates. Oh yeah, this was called Slam.
We called it that for a long time.
Yeah.
Until the lyrics were written. And even after that, we'd still call it Slam sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Unnatural and this were 2 foundations that we had, and I was these 2 ideas of yours should definitely end up on the album. Late January 2021, Aiden comes through and starts laying down some ideas, and we really liked them.
Yeah, the lead vocal melody on this song came from the same trip that I took up to New Paltz, and on the same trip we worked on an Unnatural. I don't think we really got to work on the lyrics too much. I think that happened a little bit later. I remember it being more challenging to write over just because it's one loop, which is it's not a bad thing. It's just I remember getting a lot of phrases off my chest. And also in this trip, I wrote the kind of lead guitar line that happens in the chorus and the intro. Yeah, so the guitar part and seedlings of the lead melody were developed during this trip. And then fast forward 1 or 2 months, I was just upstate at my family's, just by myself. I was feeling some kind of pressure from my bandmates in a very positive way. I gotta get this done, and there's good ideas here. I just have to put in the hour to piece it together, because there are really great ideas here. Eventually, at the end of that night or the next day or whatever, I sent in another scratch, basically.
Let's do it.
Maybe we can listen to that.
Mm-hmm.
I was in love with this melody. The different sections of the song didn't start until the vocal melody was finalized. So it was almost like there was this loop. We expected it to just be a loop the whole time. Then Aiden comes up with basically 2 vocal sections. And then after that, we build around the vocal.
Once I had written the vocal, I think I felt a little bit more ownership. Not ownership.
Entitled.
I was just like, what if I tried this?
Yeah.
Because I really like the vibe and like the production that you guys had put together. I remember being like, this is exactly like the kind of singing or the kind of like melodies that I want to be writing at that place in my life. So it felt really fulfilling in that way. And then I guess I found more fulfillment in doing overdubs. Yeah, I think probably the biggest thing I changed in the chorus
Yeah, like the
is so originally it was like dun dun dun, dun, right?
Mm-hmm.
I changed the bass a little bit. It fit the vocal a little bit in like a cooler way, having more space in the bass line, like dun dun dun.
And then we did a new drum take.
So Santi originally recorded drums. We really liked those drums and were a little bit attached to them because they were just recorded to tape and they had such a grittiness to them. But as Aiden was starting to bring a little bit more of an arrangement to the song, I was thinking, okay, maybe the drums should add to the arrangement as well, and we're going to actually make this a real song with a verse and a chorus. Maybe there should be fills kind of leading up to a chorus so that you know what's coming, you know?
I mean, I love your drum part because it's hooky. Like, there's hooks. I know the drum part really well. I'm always like, da, 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 you know, like the Dave Grohl effect where he has these like fills that are like so memorable, but all over the song. So iconic. So
eventually we recorded these new drums. We really put a lot of intention into the mic setup. It's June 4th, and today we are re-recording slam drums. We got a great mic setup over here. XY dynamic room mics over here, just to pick up some crazy stereo awesomeness. And we got this guy all the way over here. Look at him overlooking this beautiful room. We got some high overheads. We put them really high, higher than usual at least. Only one kick today, unlike usual. Got our SM7 up top, 57 on the bottom, and we're set. Yeah, we recorded it. I thought they sounded great. Obviously, I'm biased and liked my own drum part, but I think it was something definitely for you guys to get used to. Like, okay, this has fills now. Okay, this is definitely changing a lot from that original thing at this point. Part of being in a band and being a musician is not getting too attached to some things, but also knowing what you need to preserve.
I was definitely a bit attached at first, and something I love about making this album is learning to let go. And I'm so happy I did, because I would have never come up with the stuff you guys came up with, and I don't think the song would ever be this good otherwise. But yeah, I was so kind of into this idea of it being repetitive and monotonous and like in your face for whatever reason, and it took a second for us to adapt. Like, I know we're resistant to the drums, and then I was resistant to some of the stuff Aiden did. Eventually enough time passed where I think our visions came back together. But one of the things I think I was more resistant about was Aiden like reharmonized a part, like he wrote these new chords. But then I was struggling with the second verse when we were getting towards the end of this song, and these were kind of at the end of the project, so I just dragged them into the second verse, and magic happened, if I do say so myself. Should we listen to it?
Yeah, let's check it.
literally until this past like July, in my head I was like, okay, one day I'm gonna set up a microphone and I'm gonna redo all the vocals in the verse. And I never did. But working on this song taught me a lot about like how do you differentiate between this went too far and like this new idea really takes it to a heightened place. And I think I was at this like phase in my production style where I was like, oh, I have these sick vocals figured out now. Like, let me scrap the instrumental that was underneath it and like redo it because I can do it better. I mean, I guess if you're listening to the studio version, the audience won't know what I'm talking about. But when I hear it, I hear like, oh, like this part used to be softer and now it's like more projected. But yeah, I think working on Kind like really taught me a lot about like reproducing and like just collaboration in general. Cause I remember like the drums are redone and I was like, oh, these are cool. And then the next day I was like, oh, but the OG like loop, the stupid drum loop, like that's the sauce for me. And
there
like,
was a magic to that.
Yeah. And like, I think I'm really happy with how it turned out, but definitely the journey was like a little harsh at times. Like,
I think this is one of the most important things writing music. Trying to preserve the identity of a song versus allowing it to take whatever new course it's meant to take. Even the lyrics of the song kind of touch on stuff like that. It's about tension. There's dissonance all over the song, but you also get this crazy release, especially with the ending, you know, like the...
Yeah, that's definitely one thing I wanted to talk about. You know, we got an opportunity to play a lot of these songs live before they were finished. The song felt like it was falling flat live, and I was like, okay, I know what's going to engage the people is if we do starts and stops. Right at the last minute there, we kind of switched that in the project.
It was a last minute thing and the chords are so heavy. It's so great. I think this is one of my favorite songs in the album. One of my favorite productions because it's so like unapologetically what it is. Like I listen to it and it scratches that itch.
yeah.
Agreed.
You want to say any more things about the lyrics?
Yeah, so when I was writing the lyrics for the song, it's a little bit less straightforward of a process for me. The lyrics are somewhat more vague, more so trying to fit words into a melody. I started with whatever words I was hearing in like the scratch where I'm kind of like saying real things but also saying gibberish. I tried to like pull out. I tried to just like in the best way that I could just try and like emphasize like this feeling of tension. Like it could be about a relationship. Maybe that's subconsciously where that stuff was inspired from, but I don't really know. I think like from the very beginning of us scratching melodies for this song, like I got the idea of that for the chorus melody. There was something about like just somebody leaving somebody.
It hits so
I don't
hard.
really know how to describe it, but yeah, that.
Sometimes words just by themselves, like a certain collection of words, just you're very good at like imagery, you know, like you're like, this is the picture. Music does that sometimes. It doesn't have to be like a fleshed out story. Like it could just be like, this is the feeling. Are you feeling it? Good.
Yeah. It's like a collage of buzzwords that
Yeah.
ultimately make you feel something. Like I think that everyone, whether you can describe it or not, is feeling a similar thing when they hear this. There's something magical and dreamy about that subconscious word vomit. I'm a
big stan for that. Yeah.
Cool. So I think that wraps up the 6th song of our album, Kablamo. This was Kind. We will check in for the last song next week.
Thank you. We're Kablamo.
Have a good night or a good day.